a star. They let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy. You can do anything.
Where is the outrage over the killings of 2 Hispanic men by ICE agents in America? That's what some people are asking after 2 fatal shootings in Maine and then in Texas during traffic stops by immigration officers.
So here we are again, a brown man, a Latino, killed. I really don't see the outrage that I've seen in other cases. Every single life is worth the same. And we should be equally outraged.
There have been some vigils and protests in response to the killings of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and Juan Sebastian Guerrero, but they haven't been anything like the scale when we saw 2 white US citizens killed when they were protesting in Minnesota in January. Is the difference because Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty were white US citizens who were protesting against the immigration raids? Or is it because there was so much more footage of the incidents available from bystanders' cell phones and from agents' body?
ICE is trying to get the only witnesses of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo's death to self-deport. This is a cover-up in real time. When Salgado Araujo died at the hands of ICE earlier this week, DHS claimed he tried to ram ICE officials with his car. But 3 men who were in the car and witnessed the shooting said this never happened. Now, ICE is trying to pressure those witnesses to self-deport. According to an advocacy group, ICE tried to get them to sign paperwork that would remove them from the country. This is not the first time ICE and DHS have tried to remove witnesses from the country. Reports from a House Judicial Committee laid out numerous cases in which victims and witnesses were forcibly deported before they could get a fair trial. DHS has provided no evidence that Salgado Araujo was in any way a threat to ICE agents before his death. The ICE agents responsible were not wearing body cameras, and none of the vehicles had dashboard cameras. DHS has tried to blame this on Democrats for funding issues, despite Democrats leading the charge for accountability measures. In this case, witness accounts would be invaluable, and all 3 men have disputed DHS's claims. This is probably why DHS wants to silence them. The men were housed separately and interviewed separately after being arrested at the scene, and yet they all said the same thing. There was no way the ICE agents were going to be run over. Salgado Araujo is at least the 10th person to die during Trump's immigration crackdown. His death has prompted protests in Texas and calls from the family for an independent investigation. Because if DHS is investigating by trying to get rid of key witnesses, that's not justice. That's a cover-up.
ICE agents mocked Lorenzo Salgado Araujo after shooting and killing him. But that's not all. Lorenzo's brother confirms that ICE approached from the passenger side of the vehicle, stuck his hand inside the car through the window, and proceeded to open fire. ICE officers, according to Lorenzo's brother, continued to shoot and shoot even as the car was stopped and went into park. But that's not all. According to Representative Becca Balint, they stripped away Lorenzo's ID after they shot him when they brought him to the hospital. So after we learned that ICE agents shot the wrong man, we're now learning that not only did they shoot the wrong man, but they mocked him after they killed him, that they stripped his ID away from him when they brought him to the hospital, and that they continued to fire at him after the car was already parked and stopped. That, according to the Washington Post. Spread the word. Follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I'll have another update for you very soon.
They handcuffed a dead body. They unloaded their clips, and then they pulled his body out of the vehicle, which had already passed, and chose to check his pockets and handcuff him. They did not administer care. They just take him out of his vehicle, let him fall face flat onto the asphalt, and throw handcuffs on a dead body. Mind you that these officers only trained for 47 days. Donald Trump has absolutely cut all of the training that they were supposed to be receiving, and has just turned these guys into a bunch of literal gang members. I don't know. Like, what the hell is this? I have no words. I have no words. This wasn't even the right fucking guy. He was allowed to work here. He was a legal resident. This is fucked.
I saw a video posted on Facebook
that he had been shot. I recognized him immediately. Not from his appearance, but from his voice, crying for help as he lay on the street, bleeding out. I am Ronaldo Salgado, the oldest son of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. I want to tell you about my dad. He was a hard-working family man who never wanted his name to be known by anyone outside of his family. He wanted nothing else in life but to provide for his wife and see his sons become great people. He was also a man of routine. For the majority of the last 35 years of his life in the United States, he began the day the same way and always ended it by coming home, sitting on the porch, eating a hearty meal made by my mother, going to sleep, and doing it all over again the next day. Let me tell you about my father's last day alive. With as much detail
Trump immigration agenda is ethnic cleansing. Make no mistake. It's not about illegal immigration. They want to deport 100 million people, including U.S. citizens, people with lawful status, those who were born here. This is Greg Bavino right here admitting it in the New York Times. Let's listen to David Beer, head of immigration studies at Cato Institute, go at the Trump administration. This is exactly the tempo and what we need. Listen to this.
To a Department of Homeland Security post about advocating 100 million deportations. That is what DHS has tweeted from their own account. 100 million deportations would be ethnic cleansing. You would be removing 1/3 of the country. So yes, there are people within the Department of Homeland Security.
And you don't think this is hyperbolic? Give me 30 more seconds.
I think advocating 100 million deportations is ethnic cleansing.
The next segment I love because he explains why federal judges are braver than the cowardly ICE agents who wear masks.
Judges are much braver than the ICE agents who hide behind masks while violating the Constitution.
They are much braver. They put their names on their rulings and they stand behind their constitutional rulings. When I talk about population purge, I'm talking about the fact that they're trying to deport U.S.-born citizens, people born here. They are trying to deport them as well. So it's not a mass deportation.
And there you have it. We're going to hold them accountable. This will not stand.
As a certified human rights consultant, I will reiterate that with the deaths of both Lorenzo Salgado Araujo and Joan Sebastian Guerrero by ICE, the Trump administration committed democide, of course, democide being the intentional killing of people by their own government, such as mass murder, genocide, or deliberate withholding of aid during disasters. So again, what is a state-sponsored murder and what is a right to life protected human right? The question is what is state-sponsored murder and what the right to life is warranted. What is state-sponsored murder? A death constitutes democide if the intentional killing of an unarmed or disarmed person by the government agents acting in their authoritative capacity and pursuant to government policy or high command, as in the Nazis gassing the Jews, is also democide if these deaths were the result of such authoritative government actions carried out with reckless and wanton disregard for the lives of those affected, and putting people in concentration camps in which forced labor and starvation rations were used as the cause of death for the inmates. It is democide the government promoted or turned a blind eye to these deaths, even though they are murders carried out unofficially or by private groups such as death squads in Guatemala or El Salvador. Those deaths may also be democide if the high government officials purposely allow the conditions to continue where the cause of mass deaths and issues of no public warranted, such as the Ethiopia famine in the 1970s. All extrajudicial or summary executions comprise democide. Even judicial executions may be democide, as in the Soviet show trials of the 1930s. Judicial executions for crimes intentionally considered trivial or non-capital, as in peasants picking up grain in the edge of collective fields, or a worker telling anti-government jokes, or an engineer of miscalculation is also democide. I found that in a way the vast majority of events and episodes of democide is unambiguous. When under the command of higher authorities, soldiers force villagers into the field and then machine gun them down. So there should be no question about definition. When a group of armed by the government for its purpose turn the teachers and students out in the field, line up those of a particular tribe and shoot them, it is surely democide. When foodstuffs are systematically removed from a region by government authorities and the food blockade is put in place, the resulting deaths may also be democide. Sad to say, most of the cases of the government murders, again, by these perpetrators, intentionally or not, is democide.